automatic because the sensor was covered in oil. I gotta clean that. It's probably just reading a little bit off due to that. Like I said, I had oil shooting out of the side of that fender exit. But she's up and running. Like, this is awesome. Obviously, there's still some minor stuff that needs to be done, but this whole thing specifically, like, I needed to get all the drivability stuff done and figure out all the little problems, the little oil leaks and stuff like that. And it looks like we just have something up with that turbo. Something's leaking a tiny bit. I don't know if it's on the turbo pedestal or something, but I did have an issue with the O-ring I was using. I mean, come on, listen to this thing. She sounds good. The motor's healthy. An 80mm turbo is exactly what this thing needed. Behind that, we got the Turbo 400 with a trans brake, 3800 stall Rev Max converter with a quick performance 9-inch in the back. Yeah, this thing should do something decent. It's a pretty good combination. All right, well, good news. There is no oil leak. It just must be burning off whatever was, I mean, look at the truck. It's covered in it, so oil's kind of got everywhere. I do think, yeah, we got an intermittent misfire. I wouldn't be surprised if those spark plugs are junk after burning all that oil. I'll have to take a look at that. We'll pop the plugs out and everything. Well, this is the setup. For those of you new tuning in, this is a 1984 S10, and it's been through quite a bit. It's been through a few motors. Originally when I got it, it had a 350 in it. I bought it, I put a 4.8 in it with a turbo 400. Now it's got a 6-liter with a turbo 400 that's built up, has a trans brake. I blew out the 7.5, so I put a Ford 9-inch in it. And recently, I was working on this turbo kit. I kind of started it last year, and then this is the year where I actually kind of got things going. We're running an 80mm VS Racing turbo. Rings are gapped to 30 thousandths. The headers were off eBay, and then I made the crossover and everything. We're running some just generic aftermarket wastegates, and we have a tile blow-off valve. It's a very basic setup. Right now it's running kind of just generic off of the wastegates and the blow-off valve. I do have some Mac valves over here. I have a buddy that's going to be helping me with some of the wiring with that and tying that into the Holley Terminator. We're running 100-pound injectors. I have a Magna 750 in the back. So the truck is getting a sufficient amount of fuel that it's going to need for this turbo. It's actually should be a pretty decent combo. This is a lot more power than the 4.8 that was in it. I don't know what it's going to make. I know the turbo is rated for 1,000. But we're gonna kind of get everything all set up and tuned, and we're gonna see what we can make with it. I'm hoping we can make a good number. And the last time I ran the truck, we ran a 13.5. I really think that this thing is gonna run into cage territory, which is at 11.5, so that's something we're definitely going to have to think about soon. Unfortunately, I'm probably not going to make it to the track this year. There's only one weekend left, and there are some things on this truck. We're doing an S10 with these upward-facing forward headers. It's very tight. This is going to be, it's not just for an S10, but it's going to be anything that you use these headers on. It is a nightmare for the spark plug wires. Obviously, I have this one coiled around. This one's zip tied down below, same thing with that one, and then same thing on the other side. What we really need, we need some coils relocated to the frame rail or up here. We're gonna run some wires under the headers. Once those are under the headers, we're not gonna be burning up wires like we are now. It's ridiculous how I have this set up, but it is what it is. Obviously, you guys can see the oil. I did have an issue, PCV system backed up into the turbo. And I was, I mean, this thing was a smokestack. I thought I blew it up. but I didn't. So we burned all the oil out of it. She's good now. A little oily. Definitely needs a good cleaning, especially on the windshield there. But over here, if you have an S10 and you're going to run these eBay headers, which is kind of not recommended if you don't have a welder, I had to chop everything up and make the factory steering shaft work inside the header because everything was right in the way. And as you can see, it's a nightmare for these spark plug wires too. So that's why I want to relocate the coils underneath. It'll make it a little bit easier for us. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but we'll figure something out. But it's something that's definitely going to need to be done. These are the MAC valves I was telling you about. Those are going to be wired into the Holly, and that's going to control our wastegates. Also, I have an air tank in the back, which is going to run all the whole boost control system. And this is it right now. This is the truck. This right here is for your two-step. This is going to be two-step and trans brake. And then on the shifter over there, that's for our line lock. Everything's set up right now except for this. The trans brake solenoid ended up being bad, so that's on the list. We have to buy one of those. To put some good mileage on our rear end. That thing broke in nice. It's solid. 100% the best thing I could have done for this truck. The only thing we're lacking is we got the Caltrac shocks. I really need a set of Caltracs for this thing. Some Southside Machine Co. slapper bars, but they're really, it's not good. They're noisy, and it's kind of old school technology. They work, but I'd rather have Caltracs that will match those shocks. If you guys want, I'll give you a little sneak peek on what we're going to be working on next. Obviously, you guys know me, and you know all I do is LS stuff for the most part. So, we took my brother's 2005 Silverado that he got from me. I drove it for about a year. He drove it for about 3 years. 4.8 liter out of a Silverado. And she's been through a lot. It is your typical New England motor. A little bit scaly, but still in good shape. We do have 7 studs to extract out of the cylinder heads. So that is going to be something wild. The motor runs great. There's no blow-by. There's nothing. It's worth saving. The truck completely rotted out, if you can't already tell with how the motor looks. So he happened to be looking into trucks and stuff like that. Everything's kind of expensive right now. And I'm like, well, why don't you take what you already have? You know what's good. You have a good motor. You have a good transmission. The interior's nice. There's a ton of parts on that truck that's good. I said, why don't we find the same truck that's clean, actually has rockers and a frame under it, and then we'll just swap this motor right into it. So that's what we did. We ended up finding this 2004 regular cab short bed Silverado. It is clean as can be, and it is 100% worth putting a motor in. In the meantime, I'm going to get some studs out of these heads, and we are going to fully restore this motor, clean it up, make it look like it's brand new, so I can bring it over to my brother's house, and then we can do the swap. And all that is going to happen in the next video. So, I know it's been a while, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching the DeRosa Driven YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you guys see me on, even TikTok. I mean, I'm on all platforms. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.